What is up, YouTube? Dark God back again, day 3 of the October Horror Movie Challenge. I do it on 2 platforms. DVDtalk.com is the main one I use. That's where we try to get 100 films in 31 days. It goes from dusk on September 30th to dawn on November 1st. There's theme nights, there's subset films, there's a checklist. It's very, very extensive. We do about 3 or 4 months prior. We start planning where people will suggest themes, people just suggest actors or actresses or directors, producers, writers, composers, anything, checklist items. So it gets very into it. It's actually DVD Talk's biggest challenge, and it's huge. You get probably about 200 people involved sometimes, and it's just seeing all the different lists. It's cool. You go through everybody's list and see films you might want to check out or see what people recommend. It's just a good community. And the other one I do is Letterbox, which is Hooptober. That's 31 films, main films, and there's 2 extra credit films that they do, and it's a little more low key. You do it September 15th to October 31st, but I usually wait to October 1st to start watching them, so just to put them in with the other films, and they'll have like certain like criteria that's gonna be met for your list. You can pick anything you want for your list, but it's gotta have certain criteria. 6 decades of film, 3 countries. Certain actors you could pick, like they have a list of actors, you can pick 6 films from this list of actors, and then the 2 you have like the 2 extra credit films, like I said, which were Noir Black, I think it is, Horror Noir, something like that, Horror Noir, which I gotta watch. It's a documentary, and it's on Shudder and everything. I want to check that out. So anyway, getting into it, like I'm on pace right now for about 150, maybe 160 films, and like 162 I think is my top for the month of October. I don't see myself keeping this pace. Like I know like how I am down the road. Like, you know, I have my anniversary, we have our Halloween party and everything. So there's days where I might only get a film or 2 in. So these are the days, the early days, where I'll try to get 5 or 6 films, and I'll try to keep that pace going. But I'm not going to finish with 150. I'm probably going to go 120, 125 tops. If I get any more than that, I mean, I'll be ecstatic. There's people on DVD Talk who do 200, 300 films, which to me is just, I mean, you're watching all day, every day. You got to get burnt out at some point. Like, you know, I get burnt out every month. I'll get burnt out, and I'll take a day where I'll watch like 1 movie, and I'll just try to clear off my DVR of like shows that are just piling up, because my family knows in October, like I basically shut down. Like I keep track of my fantasy football team. Other than that, it's like I don't watch any shows. People say, "Oh, did you catch this?" And I'm like, "No, after October I'll watch it." Because all I watch is basically horror movies in October. This year I thought it was gonna be a little more relaxed, because I've been trying to do a horror film a day for the whole year. So I thought it'd be a little more relaxed. Maybe I'd try only going for like 30 to 50 films. But I already 18 films in basically, so that went out the window. So anyway, getting into it. First film of the day is one I found on Amazon Prime. I liked it. I don't think it's an amazing film. I'm only giving it a 4 out of 10. But that is Terror in the Crypt, or it's otherwise known as Crypt of the Vampire. And very loosely, it stars Christopher Lee. I think, they brought him in as, hey, we have a vampire movie. Let's throw Christopher Lee in it, because he's the #1 vampire actor right now, and he's in all these films out of England. He's in all these Dracula movies. And let's just throw him in there. It gives us credibility. But that's basically where the credibility ends. It's just not a very good production. You can tell it's very rushed. Like reading up on it, they wrote the script in 24 hours. The actual movie was done over the course of like 6 or 7 days. So it's not like it wasn't a high priority film. It just feels like it was Christopher Lee was more cast as a stunt casting of look who we got and everything. He kills it in it like he does always. I don't think he writes anything in. I think he takes pride in what he does, and he always just tries to be the best actor imaginable. So I mean, that's to me is he's awesome in it, but that's kind of where it ends. You got some cool scenes, some cool. There's some good scenes. There's no real scary scenes or anything. I mean, this is a movie that was just kind of like rushed out there and everything. Like I said, going 4 out of 10. It's not a bad watch for an Amazon Prime movie. It's a short film. It's not very bloody or gory, so it's easy to get in there. Second film I watched was another of these like rush productions, but it does have one cool aspect. It's also a 4 out of 10 film for me, and that is the Hideous Sun Demon. This feels like they took the werewolf mythos of, all the full moon, the werewolf turns into the monster and everything, and they turn it into, well, when the sun's really bright, it's going to turn this guy into this demon. And the coolest thing about this is the practical effects. Like, the practical effects for a 50s movie, I think it's 58 or 59, are just top notch. Like, they're really good. Like, I have to look if the Westmores were involved in it or something, because you could tell whoever did it was like a really good practical effect guy. Like, I mean, there's a transformation scene. it's nothing like, you know, American Werewolf in London, but for the 50s, it's a decent transformation scene. And there's a cool scene at the end where they're chasing the demon up this like flight of stairs up this like tower. Everything, there's a little like tussle up there and everything. And it's actually pretty. The production is good. It's still not a really good film. It's another 4 out of 10, like I said. It just another Amazon Prime film, another not very violent, bloody film you can watch in front of kids. I mean, the monster's not really scary, it's just cool looking, you know. My son looked at it and kind of like laughed because it's not really scary. It's kind of hideous, but like I said, Hideous Sun Demon, but it's not like 1980s, 90s, present day scary. Third film I watched, classic, one of my first rewatches of today. Well, my only rewatch really of today, and that is House on Haunted Hill. And I think House on Haunted Hill is getting a little bit more love now because the Haunting of Hill House came out on Netflix, and I think that kind of pushed everything that William Castle did into like the forefront. So you get a lot of his stuff like The Haunting, 13 Ghosts, the Haunting of Hill House, or House on Haunted Hill. All of these are like, you know, his productions that are kind of getting like, they're getting noticed now again after like, I feel like they're only watched by horror fans or older generations, but now people are starting to notice them again. House on Haunted Hill is great, I think. Vincent Price is amazing in it. Is it Alicia Cook, I think it is, the guy who was in he was in a lot of like the Twilight Zone episodes and everything. He's really good in it as this scared, frightened character, and I like it. I think it works. It's got elements of it that are creepy, as in the 1950s they're most likely creepy. Now they're not so much creepy, like, because you're desensitized to horror now. You're not going to get scared about stuff, but there are moments where you're like, I could see that being creepy for my grandparents. You know, that's something that looks like it would be scary. It's a 6 out of 10. Vincent Price is the best thing about it. I mean, it's just, I mean, he is on the Mount Rushmore for me of at least of the golden age of, you know, horror actors. Would be like him, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, and then you get that fourth spot. You know, you go Basil Rathbone or John Carradine, one of them. You know, modern, or Bela Lugosi, obviously, and Boris Karloff too. I mean, just, you know, you can't even do a Mount Rushmore with classic actors. I mean, you have too many. Lon Chaney even in there. I mean, it's ridiculous. But Vincent Price is just somebody who just, I mean, he's just so distinct. Every movie he's in, you just know what you're getting from him. And he's another guy like Christopher Lee. He doesn't write stuff, and he does his job, and he does it with pride and everything. And this is another film like that. 6 out of 10. Fourth film I watched was a film I watched with my son, actually. And I've seen it twice this month already. That's Goosebumps 2. It's on Netflix. I'm not going to say that it's like a good movie by any means, because it's really not. Like, there's nothing about it that's like classic or anything. But one thing I will give it credit for is it does encapsulate Halloween. It does get that feeling and everything. And I mean, he loves it. I mean, he watches it nonstop. Even before October, he was watching it nonstop. And it does get that, like, the Halloween feel, kind of like a Hocus Pocus type film, or, you know, just it brings that in. And maybe like 20 years from now, this will be his version of, for me, what was like, you know, well, for me it was more hardcore horror. You know, I wasn't like a big Hocus Pocus fan growing up, but like, it just, I don't know, it just brings in that, like, that Halloween feel, and it's good. It's a good kids movie and everything. I mean, I'd go 5 out of 10. It's better than like Hideous Sun Demon. Its production values are obviously way better, but it's not scary. It's for kids, you know, and that's cool if you just take it as that. You can't look at it as and I've never seen Goosebumps 1, so I don't know if it's a continuing story. I just jumped into it, and it seems like you could follow along like scenes. He does have a good cast, though. That's one thing I'll say. A lot of supporting actors and actresses are people who are big in sitcoms now, which the mother is the mother from Goldberg's. You get Spachemin from 30 Rock is the pharmacist. You got Ken Jeong as a neighbor. So you got a lot of these like actors and actresses who are kind of like genre actors for sitcoms and everything, and they're thrust into it. And I mean, they're all cool. You know, I like them all. So 5 out of 10. Last film I watched was the pick of the day for DVD Talk, and that is Der Fan, German film about a fanatic of this singer, this young girl who's a fanatic of a singer, and just the way she has a chance meeting with him and everything, and falls in love with him and everything, and the craziness of what a fan or fanatic could be. And I mean, this movie will blow your mind. I mean, like it's kind of slow at first, and it really doesn't feel like a horror film at first. It just feels like a drama of a young girl who is in love with this singer from Germany, and it the last 20 minutes, half an hour are just like flipped on your head, like, oh, okay, yeah, that I get why Germans are known for their hardcore horror films from the 80s. This just fits right in there with all the other ones because it's just a twist that happens, and it's I mean it's crazy, like when the twist comes, like it happens and you're just like, I wasn't expecting it because you lured me in for an hour with this drama that feels like an after school special about a girl being a fanatic of the singer, and it looks like there's gonna be this happy love story. She meets him and everything, and they get together, and he's real nice to her, and then it all changes and becomes a horror film, and you remember why it's a horror film, and it's the end scene. I mean, they do not pull away when what happens. Like, it's extended, and it's very uncomfortable. I mean, it gets into it, like it's very graphic, and involves a electric kitchen knife, and a dead body, and it's brutal. I mean, I liked it. It's a 6 out of 10. There's a lot of controversy with it because the actress was underage when she's in it, and she's naked a lot in the movie, and apparently she tried suing the production company to not release any version of it with her in it, with and being nude and everything. And I know apparently she signed some agreement previously that she would do it. So there's this whole spiel and everything. But I mean, once you get past the controversy, the movie's awesome. It just a blow your mind movie. It just comes out of like right field with this ending, and it's great. It really is. I'd go 6.5 out of 10. I'd maybe even go 7 out of 10. It depends what else I watch this month. I might knock it back down to 6.5. But right now, it's one of the better films I watch. I put it right behind Lair of the White Worm. But that's it. I think 5 films in today. Tomorrow, I think it's gonna be a slower day. I think I'm only gonna get a couple in. I got a lot of stuff to do. So until then, I'll catch you on the flip side.